I really have a lot of respect for you, for the fact that you're open to healing in your life, that you're open to transformation, that you're open to being honest with yourself and working through certain challenges to become a better version of you. I mean, that really does say a lot about you. And that's actually why I wanted to make this video. It's a little bit different of a tone than the videos that I've been making lately, as I'm sure those of you who have seen them will realize. And this is very specific. This video has a very specific purpose. It's about you. And it's about some of the things that have been happening in your life lately. As the vibrational raising process takes place, as your transformation continues, as you become more and more the authentic version of you, you will notice many things popping up in your external reality in many different manifestations. It could be something at your work, it could be something with a relationship. Oftentimes it's things that manifest between social interactions. And I think that one of the reasons for that is because humans are like deeply driven, socially speaking. So I think that's why we manifest so many interesting things in our social interactions for us to look at. I'm making this video to share with you something I know you already know, but I think it's time that we both emphasize together. I'm talking about for me too. This is for me also. It's our responsibility to be willing to receive the lessons that are being given to us. Because when you feel really, really, really good in that process, you just keep feeling better and better and better. Whenever something happens that kind of knocks you off focus a little bit or feels like it wasn't supposed to happen, it's our responsibility not to curl inward, not to feel all wounded and like the world is against us. It's our responsibility to really understand that that's happening for us. It's happening for our expansion, so we can get an even clearer picture of who we are and how who we really are, wants to show up to the world. There's this conversation that happens a lot that you've probably seen in other videos, you've probably heard thrown around. Maybe you've been interested in it. Maybe it just brushed right past you like it did for me for the last few years. And it's these two words, divine masculine, divine feminine. And I'm sure that there's somebody out there that knows a lot more about what that really means and how you heal and have that perfect balance than I do, just to be honest. I know a lot about transformation. I know a lot about taking charge of your life and creating the life of your dreams. But this is something that's a little bit new to me. That's also why I feel like I might be the right person to share this with you today. Each of us was raised in kind of a different way. For me, I was raised mostly in a feminine energy. And there's a lot of benefit to that because most men, I'm making a gross generalization, are kind of stuck in toxic masculinity. Not all of them. I know you aren't. You wouldn't be here watching this video if that was you. But maybe you can see what I'm kind of talking about. Toxic masculinity seems to kind of manifest as this need to always be the one talking, not being able to listen, right? Always being talking. Sometimes the energy can manifest toxic masculinity. It feels like your energy is being like kind of molested a little bit. Like if you're talking to somebody who's in their toxic masculinity, it feels like they're trying to shove something into you. It feels like they're trying to reach over onto your ship, which is your life, and steer it and kind of take over your ship and be in charge for you. That's a little bit of what I've recognized of how that toxic masculinity manifests. I've also noticed that there's this toxic feminine energy that I don't really hear many people talking about, but I've recognized it because I've been able to recognize it within myself. And so I'm able to see it around me and notice it. And I noticed that toxic feminine manifests a little bit as, this is just an example. I'm going to put this outfit on and I'm going to walk around. Oh, look at all these people checking me out. Toxic feminine is kind of like, can kind of manifest as feeding on other people's energy, feeding on attention, feeding on validation, being in such a kind of toxic state of receival that it's kind of like always about you in a certain kind of way. And it happens unconsciously. Both toxic masculine and toxic feminine happen unconsciously. They never happen consciously, because if we were conscious, that wouldn't be happening. The reason I'm bringing this up and I'm bringing it to your attention, and the reason it's been sparked in mine, is because life is in a continuous process for both you and me. of lifting us up, of helping us to transform, of helping us to be more who we are every single day. More you, more you, more you. And that means that we have to be willing to confront certain parts of ourselves that bother us. It means that we have to be willing to see reflections socially, externally, things that manifest at our work, things that manifest at our passion, things that manifest in our romance, things that manifest in our friendships, things that are manifesting all around you. We have to be willing to receive the uncomfortable reflections we're getting. That has a lot to do with the healthy divine feminine, being willing to receive. But it's important that we also have the divine masculine, which the divine masculine, the healthy aspect of it to me, is being in command of your life. It doesn't mean being super ego and I'm not going to listen to the universe. No, we're talking about healthy divine masculine. We're talking about realizing that you are a creator. We're talking about creating. We're talking about healthy boundaries. We're talking about being in charge. My granddad, Jan, growing up, and I don't want to distract you guys with my life. I want to make sure you understand it's highly important, in my opinion, from what I've experienced and what I've learned, that you keep your attention to yourself. Don't go about your day after this thinking about my life. You keep your energy and your focus to yourself. It's a really powerful thing when you can learn how to do that. I just want to make that clear. My granddad, Jan, was, in my opinion, one of the best examples of divine masculine energy that I've had growing up. I remember, like, my grandma would come in, relationships. Sometimes we butt heads. And she'd be yelling or saying this stuff to him. And he'd just be sitting there, sitting so comfortably. And I was always very energetically sensitive growing up. And he would just, even energetically, be completely unfazed. He'd go, "That's nice, Pam. I hear you." And she'd get it all out of her system. And he would just be completely in his zone. Right? So a healthy divine masculine has the ability to interact with other energies and other people without being fully sucked into it. If you've got a little bit of toxic divine feminine going on in your field, which I'm not suggesting you do, I have noticed that people who are brought together, like you and I are brought together right now, seem to have a similar journey, seem to have similar things we're going through. So for me, I have acknowledged this, that I've had a little bit of toxic feminine. And you can see a symptom of that by when you're in your zone, when you're in your vibe, anybody that comes through and is projecting a really intense energy or something like this, it's like you feel everything they're feeling and you get sucked into their reality, and then it's like you have to digest and process it before you can get grounded in yourself again. I don't know if that happens with you, but I know that it's definitely happened with me. It definitely has. And what I'm learning is that we need to be open, healthy divine feminine, we need to be open to receiving the reflections we're getting. That means in social interactions, just like I said, it means in all our interactions. Because if we can't be open to receiving that it's a gift for us, we will keep repeating the same lesson over and over and over and over again. It's why you can leave an unhealthy relationship where this happens, and a few years later have another relationship start and the same thing happens. And you leave that one, and guess what? You go over here, you decide, I'm not going to do relationships anymore, I'm going to focus on my career, and you experience the same manifestation with your career. If we don't listen, if we don't receive what we are trying to tell ourselves through life, through that higher aspect of us, we will keep repeating it over and over and over again until we finally get the picture. Healthy divine feminine means being willing to receive it. Healthy divine masculine means being willing to have clarity of purpose, being willing to know who you are and direct yourself forward. I'm beginning to recognize and believe in my life personally that it's my responsibility to know, divine masculine, to know what I deserve, to know who I am, to create my reality from a place of power. It's kind of like, and forgive me for saying it this way, but I think you might recognize divine masculine a little bit better if I call it a different thing. Big dick energy. Please forgive me, I don't mean to offend anyone. It's this vibe of, I don't need to prove myself. Right? You can always feel that energy coming off someone. I know you felt it before. There's all these people trying to get the attention, trying to prove themselves, combating, I'm right, you're wrong. And then there's the person who doesn't need to prove themselves, is totally in their power, in their peace, and knows who they are. And it's very easy for them to be themselves. A lot of times it means not showing up for a fight because they don't even see that a fight's happening, because to them it's not. It's that big dick energy. It's that divine masculine. I believe that that is an energy that I'm in charge of integrating right now. And I know it because I've been attracting certain examples to myself that have helped me to recognize a better and clearer understanding and knowing of what I deserve and what I'm willing to allow into my field. Because if you've got too much feminine energy, you might find that you are kind of feeding, I don't mean too much feminine energy, too much toxic divine feminine. If you've got too much of that going on, you may find subconsciously you're feeding on attention and validation. You're feeding on other people looking at you or thinking that you're awesome, this kind of thing. And you will also recognize it more consciously, how we manifest to get our attention from this. You may also notice it when people are coming and being toxic masculine to you, which is very, very like I'm forcing myself on you. My energy field, I am completely eating you. I'm consuming you. You're mine. I don't care what you have to say. All I say is the only thing that matters. It's that kind of thing. And if you're in too much of a divine, feminine, toxic, it will be very hard for you to be in your power and realize you don't deserve that. Yes, the conversations that are happening, yes, the manifestations that are happening for us. But what if one of the reasons it's happening for you is to help you realize what you deserve? When you know your worth, when you know how valuable you are, when you have clarity of purpose and clarity of who you are, you don't need to walk around and get validation and attention from other people. And you don't need to sit there and take all this toxic energy that someone's projecting at you. That's healthy divine feminine. That's healthy divine masculine. Receive the lessons, but know that it's not your responsibility to sit there and beat yourself up and sit here and say, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Am I doing something wrong? Do I deserve this? No, you don't. You are always giving yourself an opportunity to stand more in your power and be who you are. That doesn't mean when a manifestation comes on in your life that you tell it off and tell it it's not allowed to be here. Perfect divine feminine, I accept that this is here. I receive it. Perfect balanced divine masculine, I know who I am and I know what it means for me. You don't get to dictate what it means for me. I do. I am creator. I am God. I am the king of my life. You are the king. You are the queen. And I believe that right now is a perfect time for us to be integrating a perfect balance. Because if you're too high in either of them, if you're too far over here or too far over there, even outside the divine feminine, divine masculine conversation, you will find that you are constantly getting torn back and forth in life. You'll feel up, up, up. Something will happen. You'll go down, down, down. Perfect balance is a continuous process of being yourself and becoming more and more yourself. And when you have that perfect balance, you will see perfect reflections in your life. Life will respond to you in a new way. You will find more success in all the areas of your life. But guess where that success starts? It doesn't start by you trying to find it. It doesn't start by you trying to see, why isn't life responding to me differently? It starts by you responding differently to yourself within yourself. It starts by you having a true internal change, an internal transformation. That's where you look to. That's what is part of what is meant when these gurus say everything you need is within you. It is. It's time to stop looking for what we want outside of ourselves and find it within ourselves first. And it is my deep, huge respect for you and love for you that makes me so willing to promise you, undeniably, full-heartedly, that if you can start learning to look within and find that perfect balance of you, of who you have always been, and you be that unconditionally, and you create that change within yourself first, you will see that the change, you're able to take certain actions in your life that create true change. Life responds to you differently. It all just happens with such ease, such clarity, such peace, such purity in your heart, such pureness in your energy field. Everything happens so easily. I just want to let you know that a perfect example of this is when you do things in life, when you do it because it's who you are, because you've received that internal realization, it's incredible. Instead of trying to figure out what videos to make for you guys, what videos to make that are the most valuable, because I was caught in, okay, I want to add value. That's what a lot of manifestation people were saying. So I was so caught up in trying to add value, so caught up in what's going to be the best video, what's going to do the best. I just made this really internal shift and realized that I make videos because this is who I am. It doesn't matter how many people click it. I have to do this. It's because it's who I am. It's like breathing air to me. And then I made a distinction that I realized I really love myself. And from there, I realized how much I love you. And so when I make a video, I'm making it from a place of how much I love you. That's all I'm doing. That's my focus. How much I love the person I'm speaking to. Everything else just unfolds perfectly. Your path, the unfolding of your transformation, where life is calling you, where you put yourself, it's going to happen maybe a little bit differently for you. Maybe a little bit similarly, but maybe a little bit differently. I want you to know it's going to happen perfectly. And it happens perfectly even faster when you realize that you're responsible for receiving the lessons that life is giving you and then redirecting them in the way that is relevant to who you are. Because everything that's happening in your life, it's just energy. We label it as good or bad, but it's all the same. It's just energy. It's just something happening. It's completely neutral. It really is. You are the creator. You choose why it is and what it is for. But you can't do that from a healthy place until you've looked within yourself and seen who you are and have found this balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Thank you. You really are so awesome. Much love to you. I'll see you for the next video.